If you could go back and apologize to one teacher, what would you apologize for? Mr. J, I'm sorry I had a breakdown in your classroom after school that one day. I was so frustrated with the homework problem, and no matter what I did, I couldn't figure it out. I was stressed about other things too, and it just boiled over. My mom saw this guy at parent-teacher conferences a few days after my little breakdown and he looked absolutely haggard. He apologized to her and told her he was rethinking his entire teaching career and he never meant to make me so upset. She assured him that I have issues with stress. True, I also had some other mental health issues going on at that time, and that it wasn't his fault. But I think he always felt bad about it, at least for the rest of the time I had him as a teacher, and I feel bad about it to this day. High school biology teacher junior year was a total dick to me and hated my guts for some reason. He wouldn't let me take the state-issued app final in order to get credit for the class because I missed a few assignments, even though he let other kids that missed more assignments than me. I got even by starting to date his daughter who was a year older than me in the same school. She was a straight A student and on her way to get scholarships into some really good universities and was all around a really nice person, but not terribly attractive. I got her into hanging out with a bad crowd and systematically orchestrated turning her into a failing student with disciplinary problems. She ended up dropping out of school and got into meth a few years later. Last I heard she disappeared and moved cross country to the West Coast, and he's been looking for her since. I probably should have just keyed his Pontiac Bonneville or something instead, but went full Cartman feeding Scott Mearson's parents to him in the chili contest revenge on him, and may have overreacted a little. For staying up this late, 1:30, and falling asleep in their class. I really do like the class. I just can't keep my eyes open because I'm running on 3 to 4 hours of sleep and a caffeine addiction. At least I'm doing good in the class. I actually finished my global history regents the other day, and I got out of the regents and was so tired that I actually forgot a class. I only remembered it after the teacher asked what happened, and even then I would impress a Canadian at how many times I apologized. Thankfully my teachers know I'd never cut on purpose, otherwise I'd never forgive myself. My grade 9 music teacher, Mr. McMurdo, was the fucking best teacher. He was so fair, let you be creative, and still put up with my class clown attitude and jokes that he'd always come out with. Even though I annoyed him to the very last inch of his patience during every lesson, we still had a great respect for each other. I could get detention or sent out of class, but 5 minutes late we would be laughing and enjoying our day. He always forgave me. About 2 to 3 years after I left that school, I found out over Facebook that he had passed away suddenly of a heart attack while in his 30s. It kills me to this day that I never thanked him for the patience he had for me and how much I respected and was sorry. I cried when I found out. I don't cry for anyone. Rest in peace, Greg. Honestly, though I got in trouble in class a lot in high school, it was mostly stupid/silly stuff. I would get detention and I don't think I did anything cruel or over the top. However, I let a friend cheat off of me once, and it was plagiarism. I let my friend use my summer reading write-up, and he stupidly didn't change the wording. The teacher was my favorite of all time, and we had basically a personal relationship. It was almost one of those times when you feel worse when your parents are disappointed than angry. I felt I let him down. My second grade teacher. Every time she said to take out the scissors for a project or something, I would always yell scissors fight and toss them across the room. It always made the green card under my name become yellow for behavior, and it took me a few years to realize how messed up it was. I was a piece of crap in high school. For some reason I thought being an unruly jerk meant I was cool, when in all actuality I made an ass out of myself. I had one teacher, Ms. R, who was so beyond kind to me, and I walked all over her. She was quirky and one of those women who went back to school at an older age. Her kids were grown, and she had just gotten a divorce before she went back to school. I think about how awful I was to everyone, especially her. I'm in my mid-20s now, and 110% a different person. I would apologize for being quiet all the time. I was too shy to raise my hand, and my class teacher had many talks with my parents about and well, you could do that. My oral notes were most of the time. I live in Germany, so my notes are kinda different. but I think you would get what they are. 4s or even 5s. It got better now with the shyness, but I think it's kinda embarrassing that I didn't say anything for like the whole school years. Sorry if my English is kinda bad. I wish I would apologize to Mr. P, maths teacher. I was in a class with him around the time Little Britain became super popular, and not only was he unfortunate enough to share a surname with one of the characters, he also looked like another, the effeminate caricature of Sebastian, the PM's assistant. This being early 2000s, anything gay was bad, so it was more horrible ammunition. I never took part in any of the mocking, but I never said anything either. It was relentless. It wasn't just my class, there were other classes full of absolute assholes, but even just one class was cruel. He couldn't handle it from all angles, all day every day, and would frequently snap and have to leave the classroom in tears. To school kids, making a grown man cry was even funnier. I remember feeling ashamed, but being too shy to stand against the crowd. I really wish I had. Last I heard, after he left school, he had a total breakdown and killed himself. I really wish I could say sorry for every horrible thing my classmates didn't say. I wish I could say sorry for not saying anything. I don't know that one voice amongst many would have helped much, but it bothers me that I never even tried. I exerted all my efforts as I was failing a class. My teacher even gave me special attention in order to bounce back. Still ended up taking summer classes because I'm a fucking moron. Math was the only class I've ever gotten a failing mark at. I tried and tried but failed. When I go back to school in a few weeks, I would like to apologize to my math teacher for my inability to learn, and thank her too for doing her best to help me.